In Genesis, we read that God formed man from the dust of the ground, and then he breathed the breath of life into him, and he became a living soul. He became a living soul. So what was he before that divine breath? He wasn't dead. Death is something that happens to the living, not the other way around. He was formed without power. Scripture speaks of the religiously demanding in 2 Timothy 3:5, saying they have the form of godliness, but deny the power thereof. When we read of God's breath in Genesis, the Hebrew word is ruach, breath, but also spirit. In Greek, the equivalent is pneuma. Through study, we see that when Scripture speaks of spirit, it often speaks of power, the unseen power behind a person, their actions, and the events of their life. As the old song says, "He is the wind that bends the mighty tree. You can't see him, but he is there." So what does it mean when 2 Timothy 3:5 says, "They deny the power thereof"? It means they have the form, just as Adam had a body before God's breath, but they deny the Spirit who gives it life. That is what it's like to cling to the law without Spirit. It's like being a carved image from the dirt. It looks like a man. It looks like truth. But without the Spirit's revelation of its deepest meaning, it is not the living Word. That is why John, in his Gospel, writes that Jesus is the Word. The Greek term is logos, not merely grammar or speech, but the deepest principles of thought and meaning. When John declares that Jesus is the Word, he is saying Jesus came to breathe life into the law. As Jesus himself said, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." So remember, when you study the Bible, don't stop at the letter. Pray that God breathes His Spirit into it so that it becomes the living Word to you. Because outside that reality, you'll be like an empty cloud that has no rain to offer.